Gina DeLuca here. All right, I finally got some of my 10 by 20 canvases in, and I want to do a moving straight pour. The colors I am using, I have Amsterdam Titanium White mixed with some Liquitex Basics Phthalo Blue. I have DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in Copper and in Deep Sapphire. These paints have been mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. That mixture was then thinned with some water until I got to the consistency that I was looking for, which is, this is about a 2 on my consistency scale. It makes a mound, but it disappears quickly. It is making a nice, thin, even stream off of my stick. If it's getting thick and then thin again, that means that your consistency is inconsistent and you need to keep mixing. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards. Each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube to give you all of the information that you need, the exact paint, color, brand, the consistency, the recipe, of course the technique, all of the things I can't fit onto a card. This is a picture of the painting in that video. This box contains a tip for this particular technique. Here at the bottom you have the color palette that was used in this painting, and these 2 boxes can be used together as a 2-color palette, or you can build off of those colors. And there are also 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one has 5 color palettes. You can use all of the colors or just some of the colors. Mix and match the bonus color palettes with the technique cards and you have more combinations than you could ever paint in a lifetime. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and also at amazon.com. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is put some paint in my cup. I have mixed up some extra because I'm planning on using a bit extra of this color in this pour. You'll notice I've already covered my edges. The reason that I do that is because I am using Floetrol. Let me get this schmutz before it ends up in the painting. I am using Floetrol and a thin mix, and that can sorry, having issues here. Using Floetrol, and it's a thin mix, and so that can sometimes not give you the best coverage on the sides. And because this is a custom blended color, it is easier to just paint the sides now than to try to fix them later and match this color perfectly, especially since it contains phthalo blue, which is so super pigmented that it can be really difficult to get it just right. Just the tiniest bit of this color can really change your tint. And the reason that we lay down a base coat is because we want the paints to slide around evenly and easily. Something has to stick to your canvas first, and if it is not your poured puddle, I'm sorry, if it's not your base coat, it's going to be your poured puddle. And sometimes you have some really cool stuff that happens on the edge, and if you don't have a base coat down, the center of your poured puddle will roll over the edges of your puddle, and then you lose what happens there. And that is one less option that you have for your composition. This would be one of the reasons why I use the same color for my base coat as I do my background color, because if I decided that I wanted to have some negative space, it's already there. But also, you can get some air bubbles that pop up in your base coat. And if you don't pop them all, they can come up through your pour. And if I was using, let's say, white for this painting, for this base coat, and then I had these little tiny white cells showing up through my pour, I would be bummed, because I would feel like I need to go back and fix that. All right, let's pop these bubbles. Oh, Bernie 2 times. Never starts the first try. What is that? Get that schmutz as soon as you see it. It'll cause you problems later. All right, base coat is down. Let's put some paint in a cup. Be sure to check your consistency before adding to your cup. I'm going to pour from up high. Let these paints sink and churn. The paint, as it sits, can get thicker, so always good to check your consistency. This got a hair thick, so I'm going to add a couple of drops of water to it. I'm actually going to add a little bit of this, reserving a bit, and again going to pour from up high, allowing these paints to sink. All right, and adding a bit more to the top, making sure all of these cell making paints are covered. The DecoArt paints are matte, and when used with a gloss paint, they create cells. One more pop of the bubbles in the base coat. All right. Copper and blue together are one of my favorite combinations. It's so pretty. All right, let's make a mess, shall we? I'm going to come back up. And there should be some copper at the bottom. There we go. I might do something crazy here. Let's see what this does. All right, that might be something cool. It might come out really weird. We shall see. let's pop these bubbles. And I'm just going to let this sit and let these cells develop, let the paint bubble percolate. As I let these sit, when I pop these bubbles, it brings up some of the paint from underneath. So it's bringing up some of those DecoArt paints, which are matte, and the Amsterdam and the Basics are glossier than the DecoArt paints. See how all of this is setting up on the edge there? When I say you can get some cool stuff on the edges, that's what I mean, but that's obviously going to have to get tilted off. But, so as these sit and the bubbles come up, it brings the paint with it. And because it has a hydrophobic effect with the gloss paints, it pushes the glossy paint away and the cells get bigger. So the bigger I let them get before I stretch, the bigger they will be after I stretch. That was something that I discovered by accident when my torch stopped working and my painting sat for about 5 or 7 minutes. And I came back and it was full of cells and I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? That was the second straight pour and the first boulder cell pour. That was video 16. For anybody interested in going back and researching some fluid art history. All right, well, it's starting to cell up very nicely. This whole thing is going to be full of cells, so whatever happens, there will be cells. But I like that the copper has a nice line going down the center. I'm just going to wait just a tiny bit more. Well, this canvas was level, but now it's looking like maybe it's not. All right. For anyone interested, I probably going to be having an auction soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, I think I'm going to give this a stretch. I have plenty of cells here. They're going to be plenty big. Which way am I going first? I'm coming to this corner first. Coming back to the center. Before changing direction. Again, back to the center. And these are going to be very stretched out cells. You know, this is a rectangle. This is not a square. So it is not as easy to get perfectly uniform, look that way, cells, but sometimes that is what makes it cool. Again, bringing the weight back to the center a bit. That will help you keep the weight, or keep your shapes a little better. All right, I'm going to let this sit. I like how this is looking. I've got some nice motion going on in there. I've got some soft ethereal cells over here where I did the little curly cues. I've got some nice dramatic cells over here. I hope that some of this blue background sticks around because it's very pretty. And I love the contrast between that color blue and the copper. But these paints do have a tendency to like crazy sell, so that may happen. And if I want more of that color blue, then I just have to do it again and use less of the satin, or I'm sorry, the DecoArt paints. But I like what's happening. I love these colors together. I'm gonna let this sit and see what happens. Let it do what it's gonna do, and then I'll bring you in for a close-up. Back in a few. Okay, here it is. The contrast between these colors is gorgeous. I am very happy with how this turned out. Hopefully, I keep the blue, that background color, that it doesn't fill up more than it has. I love this section right here. It looks like it's glowing. I love the glow that I get with these straight pours. I love the copper cells inside the blue cells. That looks very cool. It's a really beautiful contrast. And this section up here got the more ethereal looking cells. That's where the little curly cues were. But there it is. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Comment. Help a sister get back into the algorithm. Do check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined. My website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music and fluid art inspiration cards for sale. The cards are also available on Amazon. You'll also find in the description box affiliate links and coupon codes. DecoArt being one of them. Get your hands on some of these amazing cell makers. And also in the description box, you will find the link to our Facebook group. Go make some art. Join us there. Post your masterpieces. Ask your questions. Get some inspiration. A good time is had by most. It is the internet after all. All right. I think that's it for me for today. I do hope you have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.